trees, you can leave your world.
Hello everybody, what is up and welcome back to my channel. So today it's going to be a fun story time, so that's fun. Let's get into it. So this story is basically going to be about, well, you see it in the title, I was strangled by a 4-year-old. Basically, when I was around 12, I got my first babysitting gig, and this was me babysitting an infant child by myself. I babysat like my cousin or like my other kids, but it was usually with my sister, who's 2.5 years older than me, so she knew what she was doing and I never did, so that's nice. So I babysat this kid and she was 4, I think. Okay. She was 4 years old. It was the first kid I've ever babysat by myself, so I was like really nervous. She was my mom's friend's daughter, so my mom's coworker. Okay. I go and I babysit this child, and it's going pretty well. Okay, it's fun, it's dandy. So basically we do a whole bunch of like fun things, okay? At first I'm like, hey, like, you didn't eat supper yet, I didn't eat supper yet, so let's eat some supper. And her like dad made us pogos, and then she's like, I want syrup. And I was like, you want syrup with your whatever. So I go to the fridge and I take out like the maple syrup, and she like puts it in like a little dish, like the one you dip things in, like the little ones, and she like dips her pogo in it and eats it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I usually eat my pogos with ketchup and mustard, but like whatever. It's like dipping it in this maple syrup and eating it. And I'm like, so she's like, try it. I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm good. Like, I don't really need to get diabetes today. And she's like, no, like, try it. And so I like take the pogo, I have my cup, and I take my pogo and I put it in just enough so it looked like it dipped it in it, but I really didn't. And then I pulled it out and shoved it in my mouth, and I took a bite and I was like, oh my god, that is so good. I didn't want to hate on her liking of syrup on pogos, but I wasn't gonna eat it either. So after we ate or whatever, she told me that she was a part of a spy group, because spy kids, am I right? And I'm like, okay. So she's like, we have to go to the spy house. I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay, whatever. Okay, where the hell is the spy house? Like, is it in her backyard? Turns out it's all the way a 15-minute walk from her house up a giant-ass hill that ends nowhere. There's nothing at the top of the hill. It was a pointless walk. We get her boots on and like her jacket, and then we go for a walk, and we're walking, and she's like, oh my god, like Jeruso, these aren't the real names of the people she's talking about, but I'm making them, Jeruso, like Ryan, and like naming all these like spy people that she's friends with, and I'm like, okay, imagination of a 4-year-old, I get it. I was like that too when I was younger. We basically walked up this entire hill. It was like a 15-minute walk, and I was like looking, and so we got off this giant hill, and I get to the top of the hill, and I notice it's just a long ass road that continues forever at the top of the hill. So I'm like, you know what? I think the spy people are at your house. And she's like, oh, you're right, like they are. And I was like, tricking kids. Back to her house, and we go in the backyard, and it was a little bit muddy in the backyard because it like recently rained. And I was like, okay, let's like go in the backyard and play in the backyard. And so I was like, she was talking about spies and stuff, and I was like, let's get her off the track of spies, and let's tell her that she's a superhero. So I was like, oh my god, we're superheroes, and we're like jumping off rocks, and I was having a fun ass time with this kid because I have the most childish brain as humanly possible for a 15-year-old. So I'm jumping off these rocks, and I'm like, yeah. And then after, like, I noticed that like her like entire body is covered in mud, and I'm like, great, I'm not gonna like make you sit on the couch full of mud. So we go back inside, and I draw a bath because I'm nice, and I'm like, okay, like, wash yourself. I'm not gonna wash her, okay, she has to do it herself. I'm like, at least sit in the bath to get like the mud off your legs. So she like gets in the bath and whatever, and then she like starts playing with Barbies, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then after that, I have to go and put her in new clothes because she sat in the water in her clothes, because smart. Go to her bedroom, and I'm like picking out like a cute little outfit. I'm like, these pants though. So I like grab the pants, and I'm like changing her out, and as I go to put her pants on, she grabs me by the throat This is a story I will remember for the rest of my life. So I'm in the middle of putting her pants on her legs because she's incapable of doing it herself, apparently. She's 4, so I kind of understand. But then she grabs me by my throat and starts choking me. And I'm like, stop, like, that you're hurting me. And she's kind of, like, laughing, like, she's, like, full on, like, has her hands wrapped around my throat, like, serial killer? It's like, yeah, I see that in your future. I'm like, okay, like, no, like, stop. And I, like, get her to finally get her hands off my throat. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I have to spend another freaking 30 minutes with this child who just tried to murder me. Anyways, I put Garfield on the TV and I'm like, okay, because I like Garfield, I'm gonna put it on the TV, and I, like, forced her to sit down and stay still as I watched it because I was like, I don't want to be strangled anymore. And then when her mom came to pick me up to drive me home, I got home and her mom came in to talk to my mom because they're friends. And then I was like, yeah, like, your daughter strangled me. Fun fact. Yeah, that was a really fun time in my life where I was strangled by a 4-year-old. So that is gonna be it for this video. If you want more, like, story times like this of, like, weird events that happened in my life, because surprisingly there is a lot, just let me know by liking this video. Also comment anything you want down in the comment section down below, like questions, comments, video ideas, anything really that you would just want to ask me or want me to do in the near future as a video idea, or you just want to say, like, she's stupid, she's ugly, she's annoying. I get those a lot, so just comment them down below. Also, subscribe if you are new here or you're not new here, but you're like, should I subscribe to her? And then, like, I'm telling you now, like, do it now and, like, turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, which are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If I'm late on a video, that's probably because I either A, didn't record it, B, forgot to upload it, or C, am busy, which is very rare because I am always free. It's kind of depressing. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, and bye!